Well, good morning. It is finally Friday, and we're here with you on this Friday, almost in the middle of December of 2024. We are 5 years and counting. You're facing your challenges. How about you? How have you been facing the challenges that you've met over the last 5 years? Facing our challenges through your stories mean that we get inspired. How many of you have been inspired and will still yet go on to get inspired? I want to start off by reading you something that I think is extremely encouraging. You're being capable to tell a story or to be part of someone's inspiration. Capability means that you can. You can do it. We must tell ourselves that every day. Please do not let anyone tell you what you aren't capable. Maybe you can take a lesson from the people that I will mention in this story. Michael Jordan was cut from his high school basketball team. What has been his story? Steve Jobs was once ousted from his own company. What was his story? And what was he capable of? Walt Disney was fired from his newspaper job for lacking imagination. Now, what was he capable of doing? Oprah Winfrey was told that she was not right for the TV because she was too emotional. What was she capable of? Albert Einstein was stifled with the stigma slow learner, retarded, by his teachers in the school that he went to. Just because others don't see your potential doesn't mean it's not there. Come a little closer. I said, just because others don't see your potential doesn't mean it's not there. By your becoming capable means that you are going to be successful. We all want success in our time. We all want that. How about you? Prove them wrong. Who is it that you need to prove wrong? Well, those who say, or those who didn't see your potential. The first person that I would say that you need to prove wrong is your potential self. Because aren't you the one that doubt yourself? You doubt that you could be possibly great in something that you've achieved or something that you want to do. Think about this. Your doubt is often casted away by your unbelieving how great you can be. It doesn't have to be anything big. It could be the smallest, but you are the one that oftentimes cast your first. Use every no as a motivation to rewrite your story and turn your failure into your foundation. Remember, the best way to silence critics is to succeed beyond their imagination. Challenge yourself to be capable of anything. Those people, when I said their names, what did you think of? Did you think them to be failures? Some of the things that we have made good use of, some of those names will live on in our memory. I remember the Oprah Winfrey Show. There is Mickey Mouse that Walt Disney created. Albert Einstein made up the H2O. We know what that means. And think about this. The very device that you are holding in your hand, we say, thank you, Mr. Steve Jobs. Thank you. Michael Jordan. You know those Air Jordans that you've walked around in? The very logo says, just do it. Just do it. And so here we are, 5 years later. Last week we talked and shared with you our story regarding Vibe Talk, where we started from, where we're headed to. And our fifth year, we're so gracious to know that many of you want such a program, a building that you can walk into, and a building that you can group talk, a building that you can come to privately and say, this is how I'm feeling. Now, mind you, we are no doctor. We are no medical professionals. We're just human being able to relate to the human experience. And you get to see firsthand those who have feelings just like yours. The Healing Center will be established January the 6th, 2025. Talking about capability. What if we never thought to reach out or reach into people during the COVID? What if we doubted ourselves every time something came up? Would we have gotten this far? Time has flown by, and my, have we grown. I'd like to say, first of all, good morning, Trish.
Good
So glad
morning.
When in doubt, you know the saying? When in doubt, do without. Uh-uh. Now I want you to cross that second line. When in doubt, do without. When in doubt, challenge yourself to do something. Like what, you say? To do something that you don't believe could be done. But first first I want you to make it where it's rational. If you don't have $1 million, then you just don't have $1 million. You get what I mean? Everything that you ever believed in yourself, look back and say, what did you do to create that you could do it, to create your greatness? And when I say greatness, you don't have to be a billionaire. What is your greatness? People doubt themselves. So when people doubt themselves, they doubt others. But let's change that around and let's talk about your capability. What are you capable of? If there is something that you could do right now, what would you do that's in your power to do? Let's answer that. I'll start with Trish. What would you do that is in your power to do?
The first thing I can think of is make music. That's the first thing I can think of.
And how is that showing your capability? Let's think about that.
It's
Because you do
showing
that.
my, yeah, that's true. I do that. I was doing it before I got on here.
Yeah.
um it's showing my capability of like being creative and thinking of something and putting it like into action or making it like livable. It's like when I think of a melody, it's like using my abilities to make that sound like for everybody else to hear, not just me in my head, but to bring it out there. So that's how I can use my power in my music.
So sharing something that you enjoy, sharing something. We think about when we were younger and how our parents trained us that sharing is caring. And when we share something, you have two groups of people who appreciate it, and the second group are the what groups? Anybody know? People who don't appreciate it. So you there, what are you waiting for? Do you let them be the people that say, you're not capable? You can't do that. That'll never be done. Because everything that you do, everything that you have ever thought of, will come to be in its own time. And we're talking about in things you want to do. When we were much younger, we thought about growing up. I don't know how many of you thought about growing up, because when you're kids, you're in the moment. And when you're a lot younger, as babies, you sleep, eat, play, and poop. Got that? Sleep, eat, play, and poop. Now you're getting older. You've gotten older. Now, your world has discovered that there are things to do. And part of those things to do have to do with you personally. My list may look a little different, just like with Vibe Talk Facing the Lion podcast. We had a thought. We built on that thought. We didn't really know what it was going to end up like, but we tried it. And as it started happening day after day, week after week, month after month, and 5 years and now counting, we didn't give up on that thought. That thought was just a budding seed. And I don't know how many of you are still working on your flowers. You know the thing about giving you your flowers? You should be the first one to give yourself flowers if you're working on yourself, because your flowers or your seeds have grown. Or have they? Have you nurtured them? Have you watered them? Have you planted on solid foundation? Or are the seeds just laying dormant, you know, in your kitchen drawer or somewhere around the house? The root here is planting the seed. And that's what we did. We planted the seed. You know, it's fun to go back in your memory when you think about something that you've done good, something that you've done challenging. Has it been challenging? Oh, yes, every day, because there was a time where we were on air every single morning. And we were early risers. But here's the thought. We planted one seed, two seeds, and pretty soon after nurturing, we began to flourish. Flourish in that we weren't just influencers of people, we wanted them to be something great, something better than they were the day before. That is, the day before they first started to hear the podcast, Vibe Talk Facing the Lion podcast. And so one person caught on, that's one seed, while another person caught on, that's two seeds. When all you really need is one to start a growth of something. And so we did that. Sometimes we're not sure of what it is that we want to do. And I liken it to children when you ask them what they want to be when they grow up. Try this and take any little child. Ask them what they want to do when they grow up. The first few may want to be policemen. The second want to be doctors. The third want to be firemen. Something familiar. You know, I oftentimes wondered when it came to our President Obama. I wonder when he was a kindergartner or preschool if he said, I want to be the President of the United States. You see, no one stopped him. In fact, here's what he did. Something amazing that no one had done before. Have you caught on to it yet? He was our first black president of the United States. Why am I going here? Because that's pretty big whether we vote or not. The fact that he symbolized that he was capable. You know, because we laugh at the little kids when they say they're going to be this and they're going to be that. Don't you wonder what your children will become, what the young people in your life will become? Don't ever underestimate the power of your being greater than you were the day before. Because sometimes we get in the way of ourselves. Nobody has to tell us anything. We are in the way of ourselves. Because you know what we tell ourselves? We can't do it. When we should be telling ourselves, we must do it. So when others are doubting us, because sometimes we do that, We do it to ourselves. We do it to our family members. But here's what's believable. All the names that I mentioned before, they were capable of something. And here's something that I really love about Oprah is she grew up living with her grandmother. And as little as she was, her grandmother said, one day you're going to be doing exactly what I'm doing. And do you know what her thought was? She is a little girl. No, I'm not. You see, the mindset had already prepared her that she was not going to be in the fields picking cotton like her grandmother. Now, for you that aren't understanding what I'm saying, picking cotton was survival back in the day. But it was a way that people looked down because those people didn't earn very much after being in that cotton field all day. They earned very little, so people look down on them. That's where you get the word cotton picker. Don't ever let anybody call you that or refer to someone as that. But you know, I look at it as survival because either way, many of those slaves survived and became landowners because they had the same thought that Oprah had. Nope, I'm not going to do that. I'm going to be something great, whatever it is. So, what is your challenge today? Is to think yourself capable of doing something good. And it gets better than that. Thinking of something great. You know, people say it takes lots of money to build on a project. That may be true. But if you're doing a good thing, people start getting in on it. They start to build on that idea. Some people have even stolen ideas from other people. Yes, that's a true fact. But as you look at yourself and think about what can you do, you know, I think the word influencer is used loosely. You know, when you say influencer, it
I agree.
reminds me of, go ahead, Trish, and how so? Go ahead, I love that.
I was saying I agree because the word influence, like it has a deeper meaning, and just giving that to, I would say that title to anybody. It's like you're an influencer. We all influence people. That's true. But like, what kind of influencer are you? And do we want that kind of influencer? So that's why I agree.
Yeah. And the influencer, are you influencing people for the good, the evil, or the challenge to do better? You, you know, you think about it. Let's not be narrow-minded because there are some people who have influenced people to do the right thing. We tell our young people that. I've told my children that when they go to school or when they were in school to make good choices. And that's where it really starts from, you see. I took a look. I took a look and I thought to myself, how did we reach over 480 something videos? How did we reach over 327 viewers? How did we grow from one stage to another? Because in my mind, I believed that we were capable. From just a little sprout of seed, you can do so much. Thinking about planting and seeding, did you guys know uh, that there are some seeds that you don't even have to plant? You just simply throw them in your yard and keep your yard moist. And it begins to blossom these beautiful wildflowers. We see a
I
lot
did not know
of
that.
that. Yeah, check the facts. We see a lot of it here. And they're wildflowers. No, nobody planted them because no one lives there. Think about that. So what can you do? What can you do to seed your way through life? You ever heard of initiative? Taking the initiative to nurture and water mindset. Maybe you're not having that great of a day, but you're going to take the opportunity to think possibility, to act with capability. You're going to be just like those flowers because you see, the creator of those flowers decided to let them grow where they were. The creator of those flowers decided we don't need to stand out there every day. We're just going to simply need the beautiful rains and the seasons that grow and change. It's a beautiful thought, isn't it? And we can be just like that. We can grow, grow, and grow. And I wanted to talk to you guys about capability because we've come a long way, baby, just from a thought. We want you to realize that the names that we said, you can add on to the list of names. And I love this morning because we are inspiring you to challenge yourself to just be capable. You know, a lot of people want to be rewarded for their hard work. And Tricia and I have oftentimes said when we thought there was no one listening, wow, nobody's listening. We don't have an audience. But you all have proved us wrong. And we took the challenge to just keep going. You know, like uh, Dory from Finding Nemo, the famous line that we all know now. Just keep swimming. We must just keep swimming. And that swimming is not just for the fish. That is our survival mode. We must keep going. Are you capable? Are you capable of just keep going? Sure, you're going to get tired. Sure, it's not going to look like growth. Sure, it's not going to look like what we may think it should look like. But any time that you put forth an effort to accomplish something, you can indeed have all that you expect. Being capable. Don't let anyone tell you what you're capable of. People doubted me. who is she to bring forth a podcast? I wanted to share with something, just like Trish talks about sharing. You see, whoever came up with the idea to share, let me tell you something. Sharing wasn't a bad thing because we've shared over some 54 states. That doesn't include what is not on the United States map because we have reached places that we didn't even know existed. How do we know that? By the callers. So just because people aren't coming in here by the thousands doesn't mean that we haven't touched or impact or give inspiration to. I always think about that because somebody somewhere listens. I'm so thankful that I had a mindset to not give up. Friends who believed that I couldn't do it. Did you hear me call them friends? Relatives who didn't support me. I'm gonna tell you the cold hard facts of things. People that didn't click like, but they secretly said, he's doing a lot. And still they didn't click like. See, if I had went on how many likes I've gotten or didn't get, I probably would have said by the judgment of them, I'm not doing so well. You see, those could be the people that are the real influencers, the ones that don't clap for you, the ones who don't give you your flowers. And that's why I say you begin to clap for yourself, saying that you are capable. Give yourself flowers. I have a thing. Flowers are very beautiful to me. I love the creation of flowers. So detailed, so beautiful. How did Jehovah God think about a flower for us humans? So grateful for them. How many times have you bought yourself flowers? How many times have you went outside and gave yourself a flower? Because we wait for people to do it. And those beautiful flowers that have grown from one seedling, two seedlings, they're just sitting there in the vase looking pretty at the store. I want you to realize something. You are capable of giving your own flowers. Today's assignment is to do just that. You don't always have to purchase flowers. And remember, if somebody ever says you deserve your flowers, you take that with graciousness, you humble yourself, and you say, I didn't have to wait for anybody to do it because I've already done it. How many times have we thought somebody deserves this? We've got thousands upon thousands of podcasts, and we call them the influencers. But who really is the influencer? Is it the one that has the latest gadget, the latest hairstyle, the latest music, the latest sequence gown? Think about who the real influencers are. Those are the people that you believe in. And those are the people that believe in you. a little closer. I said, those are the people who believe in you and you believe in them. Those are the influencers. Think about the impact that people have had on your lives, or you have had on their lives, because every time you come in contact with somebody, they're impacted by you in some way or another. See, we can do great. We're capable. You see, we don't have to have the finest clothes, the baddest car, or the nicest house. You know, we can say those are nice things because they are, but sometimes it's just the little tent that the old man just lives in that influences us, because you know what we say, how do they do it? Because we look at that influencer and we say, you don't have nothing. He just live in a tent with his dog. Instead of saying, wow, he is really surviving. Because those are the real people who challenge our belief system. Because we say, look at them, they're doing it. But you know what we call them? The homeless. We don't think much of them, but yet they're out there surviving. Whatever their case may be, they're surviving. How many influencers like that can we recall? All of these names that I said at the beginning of today's Finally Friday and challenging ourselves, we knew all the names. Did you know all the names, Trish?
Yes, I did.
Yeah. But if I said to you, you know, the little old lady that I see walking with her dog, man, I don't even get out there and walk every day. Here she is, walking down my street with her big old dog and a stick. And she's older than I am, in her 80s. She isn't afraid. And if she is, she would never tell you, because she sees her walk as a good thing. Are we influenced by that? Or the family that has a single parent, and you say, wow, they got a lot of kids. I've said that before. But yet, her or he with a lot of kids, they're doing what they have to do to meet the daily challenges, whatever they may be. What can you and I do to help ourselves, to challenge ourselves to do better, to influence somebody to do great? Many people laughed at me. People that I knew and loved, not not a lot, and I don't want to exaggerate it. First, they couldn't believe that I actually got myself live to be able to do a podcast. They second guessed me. Then they second guessed that it was about anything instead of about something that really mattered to people, your mental and emotional state of mind. And if you're not worried about yourself, you're worried about somebody in your family, because you may think you're all together. But it matters to most every human that you will ever talk to. It's a concern. Now, here we are 5 years later, and because of our thinking from one seed, our petals of life, turned into what we could only think. We didn't expound on how it was going to happen. We said we wanted a building, a brick and mortar, so that people could come in. Keep in mind, we are not doctors. That is not the reason for the healing center. The healing center is about getting yourself in check. People go to colleges and pay thousands of dollars for what I'm going to do with the healing center. And by the way, we welcome donations. So we're not getting rich. We're just trusting our seed, our seedlings. It's going to be how we nurture that healing center. The healing center is going to be much, much more than just a class, just a workshop, just somewhere to be because you got nothing else and it's free. Because when you say the word free, everybody gets on it. You don't believe me? You just wait. But you see, the free is going to be at the expense of those who really want to get their emotions, understand their emotions, become experienced in themselves. So are you going to invest in yourself? Are you going to become that beautiful flower or beautiful flowers when you start to open up and blossom? See, it's going to gain connection to you as an individual, as a person. You're going to be able to open up. That's why it's called the Healing Center. What's the moral of why I'm telling you this about being capable of something, challenging yourself to be capable of whatever it is that you can do it with your best. We hope that you learn something. We hope that you can tell your story because we know Oprah's story, many of us. We know Michael Jordan's story. We know about Albert Einstein. We know about Steve Jobs. We know all about Walt Disney. But do people know about you and your greatness? We are going to be right back with Trisha's Treasures. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back. Lion is always positive. And so I ask you today, as we are going to be facing our lions or challenges of the week, what did you face this week that was challenging? We are back, and today is finally Friday, and we're talking about challenging ourselves as we are capable to do just that. Now it's time for Trisha's Treasures. Trish?
When I was um 6 or 5 years old, a career that I wanted to do was be a princess. Yeah, I wanted to be I wanted to be a princess somehow, and I knew I was gonna be there. I just knew it. So every day I would draw castles. Every day I would draw castles. And I remember my parents had this portrait of Disneyland. It had Snow White, Mickey Mouse, Minnie Mouse, and all the Disney characters there with the Disney castle in the back. And I would look at it and I'm like, you know what? I want to be a princess. That's what I'm going to be. So I never got to be that, guys. Obviously. I never got to be a princess, but I got close because when I was in 8th grade, I played the role of Belle in Beauty and the Beast. I got to do that. And um it's crazy because I didn't think about that until just now. Like I didn't think about that until just now. And I'm just like, you know what? I enjoyed it. I got to, be a princess. It wasn't a technical princess, but I got to live out my dream as a 5-year-old. 5-year-old Treasure got to be a princess. And that reminds me of our Think About Thursday yesterday about our inner child. And I would love to tell myself, my 5-year-old me, guess what, girl? We did it. We were a princess. It was in 8th grade. It was in a play, but we still got it, though. We still got the role. And I say that to say, whatever you want to be or whatever you want to do, it's important to wonder about how important it is to you and how will this affect you, the thing that you want to do. If you want to be a doctor, do you want to be a doctor because you want to be a doctor? Or do you want to be a doctor because someone else around you is a doctor? And that's okay too, because we have role models, we have influencers around us. And I remember changing my career as a kid. Uh, First, it was a princess. Then it was going to be a waterbender from Avatar: The Last Airbender. Yeah, it was going to be one of those. And then I was like, I would practice every day, y'all. I'm laughing because to me, when I'm thinking about it, it's embarrassing. But I'm like, you know what? I thought I knew what I was doing back then, and I made a lot of mess trying to be a waterbender. Sorry, mom, but but guess what? It was fun. I never regret that because instead of controlling water, I got to control who I want to be in life. I got to control how I feel about myself, and I get to control the things that I can control, which is my mindset, my personality, my creativity, how I want a song. I want to bend my music every day, guys. I control what I want in it. I control what I write. That's me, and I love that. So childhood me that was 8 years old. We didn't get to, control water, but we got to control our music, the sound waves in our music. We got to control our vocals and what we want to put in our songs. So check on that one. Um, I wanted to be a detective when I was 12. Yeah, I wanted to be a detective. And I never solved any crimes. I never did that. But I did solve what I felt like I was missing in me. What I felt like I didn't deserve compassion from other people. I didn't deserve the self love. I solved that case. And the answer to that is I do. I deserve that. I deserve love. I deserve compassion from other people. And first and foremost, I deserve that from me. And I deserve to support me. And 12-year-old me, we never got to be a detective, but we solved the case of self-hatred, and the resolution for that is learning to love yourself. And I learned to love me. And during those career phases that I had, my childhood wasn't great at school. I was being bullied and things, but I still wanted to be a princess. I still wanted to be one of the people in Team Avatar. I still wanted to be a detective. And that has a lot to do with, regardless of what you're going through, stay true to who you are, stay true to what you want to be. And it's okay if your motive changes over time. That's important, and that's fine, because we as humans, we want change. But just remember that you are capable of doing the things that you want to do. And you have the power within you. It starts with you. And sometimes we want supporters to support that we know that we're capable, but it's okay if you don't get that, because what matters is you know that you are capable.
That hit hard. Thank you. You can listen to Trisha's Treasures by hashtagging Trisha's Treasures, as well as on our Facebook page at Vibe Talk. And she's also on YouTube. Thank you for that. That was very hard hitting. And guess what? I still want to be a princess. I love that. You know, the message to our challenge today is to prove yourself capable. Sure, it's going to be hard. Think about the seeds that have to grow through. Have you ever saw a wildflower come through the cracks of the concrete? Sometimes life is like that. Or have you ever saw a flower that comes through the soft soil? Life is like that. How about seeing the wildflowers on rocky soil? We've all seen life is like that. But what that flower is a reminder of is the seed that has to come through all of that just to be capable of becoming the most beautiful flower. We are still in our GoFundMe, and we're going to keep that up. We know that so many people may want to donate. Even if you donate a chair, we are so very thankful for it. We thank you in advance for contributing. We thank you for being with us 5 years and still counting. We are going to open our doors officially January the 6th, 2020. Why? Because we challenged ourselves to believe and support our ideas just from a seed. Today's Finally Friday is challenging ourselves while being capable. Think about it. Somebody today needs this challenge. I thank my amazing co-host. I, I thank the audience members. I thank those of you who reached out to me just yesterday to tell me that you wanted to sign up for the Healing Center's workshops and things like that. Our first group is going to be Monday, January the 6th. We will be live January the 4th, celebrating and commemorating the Healing Center. So come on out, and we look forward to having you. For those of you around the world, you can still be on our Facebook Live to see what we've done. We're going to start taking you through our journey. I'm going to give the address because it's an actual building. 1317 East Palmdale Boulevard, Suite 18, Palmdale, California, 93550. We're accepting donations, if not monetarily. Anything helps to build our foundation. Thank you guys so much, and we look forward to being with all of you next week. Keep in mind, too, that we're still doing Vibe Talk After Dark, and when you don't hear or see us, we are busy, busy, busy. But if you want to hear Vibe Talk After Dark radio show, that's on YouTube too. And you can also hashtag it on your Google search by putting a hashtag sign, Vibe Talk After Dark radio show. Thank you guys for joining us. Have a great, safe weekend. It's getting colder. May we be mindful of those who may not be as fortunate as you or I. May we think about them not just on one special day, but every day. And if you have blankets that you don't use and you don't feel safe to approach them, you can take it down to your local centers. If you have that, like here in California, we have what look like mailboxes, the old mailboxes, and we just drop them off. Or just giving someone that you think is cold a blanket. It's as simple as that, guys, to start growing. Thank you for this week, and have a happy, safe weekend. Until next time, challenge, we'll see you next week right here on Vibe Talk Facing the Lion podcast. Because I don't want you just to make a resolution. I want you to think about God. I was really about the moves and then I got the vibe with it. I really feel like smile with it. I really love the ride with it. Really got the vibe with it. It's got sound with it. I really love the ride.